Finally realizing, and Packers fan.
Great job, Ryan. Yeah, we're live. We got drinks. We're going to talk about the Wisconsin Badgers football team, which means it's going to be great. It's going to be great. It is Talking Badgers, powered by BadgerNotes.com. I am your host, Kedrick Stumbris. You can find me on the website formerly known as Twitter, all the various social medias at Kedrick Stumbris. I am centering my two wingers tonight, Ryan B. Eilers and one Brandon Frozen Pizza Cooper. How you gents doing this evening?
Doing great, dude. Togan Creek in the motherfucking house, ready to roll, talk some Badgers. But
let's ride, baby.
Let's ride indeed. Well, we all definitely aren't completely distracted by various baseball games going on right now. Whether they be
Dodgers won.
The Dodgers won? Okay, I was gonna say whether they be NL West fans hate watching the Dodgers or me watching the one remaining joy in my life. I guess that's not true. Ryan points out the other remaining joy we have in our lives. On the tagline here is you watch youtube.com/@TalkinBadgers. The Milwaukee Brewers not in the best of spots, it looks right now, in game 4 of the NLDS. Cujo, by the way, saying peanut butter coop in the chat. So we're rolling.
Hey, that's that chunky shit, dog. You know how I do.
Knowing the context, that is a horrific thing to say. Just a horrific thing to say. If you don't know, tune in 2 episodes ago to the After Dark show. Oh gosh. Sorry, trying to recover. Okay, Wisconsin played Michigan last week, a game that Wisconsin lost 10-24 coming off of the bye. We're going to talk about that a little bit. We're going to preview the Iowa game, maybe get into whatever other shenanigans happen on this program this evening. Who knows? Maybe we'll hit the Wisconsin Badgers women's hockey team. Dylan and I were in Rosemont, Illinois today, talking to various Big Ten basketball programs for Big Ten Media Day. Dylan and I are going to try to get a show on that, some various storyline dumping from that into the feed tomorrow. But guys, this game against Michigan, despite it being a 2-score loss, I thought it was probably Wisconsin's best on-field performance of this season. There are certainly nits to pick, but I think in terms of the quality of play on the field, and I know there's some up and down stuff in there, particularly from the offense, but as a whole, I think that's probably the closest thing you got to a full 60 minutes from this team. Anybody care to agree or disagree?
I 100% agree. And the biggest thing I asked myself, not that Hunter Simmons played out of his mind, but I thought he was better than O'Neal by far. It just looked like he had more command of the offense. But like, why wasn't he the second string quarterback? Is that kind of what I wondered watching this offense to start the game. And one thing too, it's going to sound weird because I think what we average 2.7 yards a carry. I thought the offensive line played better though. Like it, just from the eye test, I don't know. I felt better about that. Ryan tweeted out, Vinny Anthony's a pro. I couldn't have liked that any faster. Vinny Anthony's a stud. Played great. 9 for 97. Love Vinny. It's crazy to say you lose by 2 touchdowns, but like this is the most positive I've probably been about this team all season, especially the defense. I mean, Michigan ran well, but I think we all kind of knew that going in, looking at who they had played prior. But I thought the defense played great, honestly. Like it's a highlight of the team this year. But showing up against Michigan and playing that well, like, gives me more confidence going into the Iowa week than I think I ever imagined. You know, not that I think we'll win, but like this Iowa game is a very winnable game, though. And like, if Luke Fickell wants to save his ass, you have to have this game. You must win this game. And Ryan said that about Maryland. But now, like, at this point, I think if he wants to save his job, like, you have to win this game.
Yeah, we'll get to the Iowa of it all. I want to say a little. I want to stay a little bit focused on Michigan for the time being, but
no, for sure.
We're getting to
I was
a
just
conversation
ranting.
that I think is worth having. Ryan, thoughts on Michigan? Best on-field performance of the season by Wisconsin? Yes, no?
Yeah, I mean, here we are, early October, talking moral victories. It's just how we draw it up.
I know. I hate myself for it, but
when you were going through that, I was just like, someone draw a nice bath. I'll bring Coop the toaster. It's October now. We can
have a party, dog.
Yeah, it's gonna just be a free for all. I'll bring all your extension cords. Yeah, I think the defense played well. I think I'm before the game. I know we were talking about. I was kind of like looking at the numbers and trying to say, is the run defense as good as it is? Is it bad because it's propped up by mostly Alabama being 94th in rushing? And I think I'm content saying they're not as good as I thought they were. They got gashed quite a bit. They're not as bad as I thought they might have been based on the numbers. I think they're more than adequate. I think based on 3 years, this is probably one of the better performing units in 3 years, which is disheartening and optimistic. It's hard seeing that the offense still is struggling the way it is. Obviously, it's Michigan. You're not going to get a ton of quality reps running the ball against them. They have a good front for a reason. They get guys drafted in the first round for a reason. To Coop's point about why was it Hunter before Danny, and why did he look more poised? I think part of the offensive line too looked good because he was getting it out so quickly. And then I think that gets to the point of Danny didn't do. I mean, we talked about it last week. How Danny will do his drift, and then he ends up drifting into sacks. Versus Hunter knew what his limitations were, knew what the offensive line limitations were, and as I said last week, just getting out there and dotting the boys up. And I think he did a good job with that. I think he did exactly what he was asked to do. Now I think we could probably nitpick a little bit on what he was asked to do, because if you're going to throw every pass within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage, you're probably not going to beat Iowa, let alone scrap the idea of beating Michigan.
Well, but Ryan, if you have offensive line issues, how are you going to get the time to really start developing plays further downfield than these short passes that you're going to be able to just connect in rhythm very quickly after the ball is snapped?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. Unfortunately, I'm not the offensive coordinator, so I don't get paid millions of dollars to figure that out. But what we do in 7th grade, because our offensive line can be bad, is we do 2 easy things called move
1 and 6, dog.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
What we do on our 1 and 6 7th grade team that the Badgers need to do is XYZ.
We're the best 1 and 6 team in all the land. And to be fair,
the best 1 and 6 team in the land.
You
got a gold star.
Hey, we're doing moral victories. What are you talking about? By the way, for anybody that watches that actually knows our team, yes, we are 1-4-2. But for me, if you're not a winner, you're a loser. So I say we're 1 and 6. We're technically
100%.
For anybody who watches, what are you on Big Ten plus?
No. I'm saying for anybody that watches our show, we played against the Monona Grove team. And shout out Mike, the head coach of Monona Grove. He came up to me before our game and said, "Hey, are you on Talking Badgers?" So I know that people have watched.
And I was like, "Yeah, bitch."
Yeah, no, I didn't say that. I just said, thanks for watching.
Or sorry that happened.
So I'm the most qualified to talk on this because my underperforming team matches the Wisconsin's underperforming team. So I can give this is like fat people calling other people fat. Like, hey, we're both at the bottom of the barrel, baby.
Whoa.
Right. So with that being said, a lot of times if you want to help your offensive line, it doesn't seem that difficult. The only way, if you got an offensive line that decide that they are there because their parents signed them up, and that's the only place they can play, you got to chip. You got to bring help. You got to move the pocket to help alleviate some of those things. So I think if you're going to try to get those longer developing plays, nobody says that you can't have, too tight. You can't go 12 personnel, 13 personnel, bring the tight ends in, bring in Steck, bring in Lance Mason, like bring in a heavy package and have longer developing routes. Like as a Sunday player, take advantage of that. You don't have to do it every single play, but I think sometimes instead of just running out of those heavy formations, try to have one of those longer developing plays because you have the mass up there to actually buy you that extra little bit of time.
Yeah, but at the same time, like I understand the formula. Like play good defense. It reminds me of like the Steelers. Like play good defense after Roethlisberger, I should say. Play good defense, get the ball out quick on offense. Don't turn it over a ton. You're going to win a lot of games. Like I feel like that's what the formula is maybe flipping to. I could be wrong on that, but
yeah, that's the
I don't mind it.
Football. That's Iowa.
Yeah, like I don't mind that shit. Yeah.
100%. But you also, what you're saying, like for it to be winning formula, you have to win the game. So like that
Correct.
can be the formula all year.
That is true.
If all we're doing is field goals to cover and we're not winning the game, like eventually we got to put some of those little check marks in the W column and not in the L or the T column. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Speaking
of 100%. That's right. Story time. I coached youth football for 2 years. I think I was in my early 20s. I coached 7th grade. The first year, we were like Ryan's team. We were absolute dog shit. I think we were
easy.
1 in.
Hard though. We're trying hard, right?
Hey, sports. Both teams played hard. But we were 1 in 7. I almost got kicked off the coaching staff because I did cuss out some kids, 7th grade kids, after one game. You know, sometimes your emotions get the best of you.
Yeah,
but I apologize to every parent. You know, I'm a man. But anywho, so I think we went 1 in 6 or 1 in 7, and we didn't win till our last game of the year. And I fired the boys up after the win. You know, great speech. Next year, I coached the same team. I think we went 6 or 7 and 1, whatever it was. I tell you, coaching, one of the most rewarding things you can do. It's great. I'm jealous of you, Ryan. I miss it. I just can't do it because of work anymore. But coaching is so sick. I know we give you shit about your team not being great, but it's awesome that you do that, man. I'm jealous.
Well, I think part of it too is if we want to go down a little more story time, our program split into 2. So usually we have one good team. Now we had to split into 2. So you're right, though. It's rewarding all the way up to even the college level. I'm sure the coaches love it. It's rewarding to help develop young men. But at the end of the day, we don't get paid in 7th grade. The people on the Wisconsin Badgers get paid.
Speak for yourself, then.
Yeah. Well, Wanakee gets paid, so good luck to them. But the Badgers get paid to figure these kind of things out. And when you're getting $7.75 million a year, maybe start adding some W's.
Defensively, I know we touched on it a little bit. The run defense probably a little bit left to desire in some aspects, a little bit better in others. I do think that there was just a feeling throughout this game that Michigan was going to crack it open at some point in time, and it probably took a little bit longer than I think most people anticipated. Look, Wisconsin's still in a spot where they are surrendering only 75 yards per game on the ground. That's 6th in the country, 2nd in the Big Ten, 2nd only to the Iowa Hawkeyes, which we'll get to momentarily, of course. But defensively, any big thoughts here? I don't know if anybody wants to wax poetic about the run defense. If anybody has continued thoughts about the secondary, Nizier Forkreen, there's kind of a potpourri bag that if either of you want to grab at anything there, please feel free.
Ryan, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't think that Nizier is gonna. We're a Nizier away from winning games though. So I think that's. I've seen fans like I pop into Discords here and there. You see it on Twitter. I see a lot of concern about if we just had Nizier back, you're not a Nizier away. You're a Nizier, Preston, Zachman, Xavier, Lucas, and a 2nd year Mason Poso away. Go ahead.
They changed the transfer portal window, and you see that the transfer portal window has moved. Big impact on college football, as we all know. The transfer portal window, hard and fast rules these days.
Yeah, I mean it's just a shit show. At the end of the day, like you deal with the hand you're dealt. Like at the end of you look at it, and Micah Potter, who played basketball for the Badgers, got the shaft because he decided to play school. So sometimes when you do the right thing, sometimes you don't benefit. But at the end of
that
the
is
day,
a great point.
Sometimes you play by the rules, or you can either be Micah Potter and play school and then lose a year, or you could be Xavier Lucas and then withdraw and then enroll, and then you're rocking out on what, the number 2 team, 3 team in the country.
Yeah,
like it's.
I mean, that's the thing is that's a great point. Not a way that I think I've thought about it in the past, right? Where
You're welcome.
Micah Potter was punished for taking this is just school route. Like, I'm gonna stay in school, and Xavier Lucas was rewarded for just taking this is just school route, and I can enroll where I see fit, and that's interesting. Yeah. Coop, I had big thoughts on the defense coming out of week 1. Anything else that we haven't touched on?
I thought
last week.
Yeah, I thought they footballed well. Like, I don't have much more than that, I guess. Like, I was happy with the defense.
I think Mason Reiger continues to show up in a big way.
Yes. I mean, yeah, if we're calling like specific stuff. Yeah, definitely.
Can I make an analogy quick?
Go ahead.
Is Mason Reiger everything? And with all due respect, is Mason Reiger what we always wanted Aaron Witt to be?
Yes.
I think so.
I would say yes.
I look at them, I'm like, they kind of look like doppelgangers. Like, not just because they're blue white made of granite, but like, hey, they play a similar position. They're both athletic freak shows.
Mm-hmm.
Both had a little bit of an injury history, but I look at them, I'm like, man, I feel like if we had Reiger, but a broken with all due respect, a somewhat broken Mason Reiger at home and Aaron Witt, and it's like, is this what it could have been for 4 years had he not got the injury bug over and over and over again? Just all those unfortunate events.
I think that's a pretty apt comparison.
Man, I'm 2 for 2. I'm about to retire. So this is my last show. I made you think twice. I'm out of here.
Going out on top. Okay. Anybody have other burning thoughts on the Michigan game? I know we're recording this on a Thursday, so it is a little bit late in the week for big Michigan thoughts here. Before we move on to the Iowa Hawkeyes.
My only thought, like I kind of touched on earlier, it gives me more hope that we could win this game. I don't think we will, but I have a little sparkle in me now.
Yeah, there's definitely takeaways. I think I'm not going to do the moral victories. I'll leave that to Coop. He's a big moral victory guy, apparently. But
fuck you.
But see, for me, like, I look at it, Sharon Moore decided he was going to take 2 games off and come back for Wisconsin because he knew we were them boys, and he couldn't, use one of his suspension games against us. So he clearly knew something we didn't. And also, I like to think that we got Bryce Underwood at a good time. Like, we saw Malik Washington from Maryland with a whole offseason with Loxley, who's very good at offense. Maybe not a great head coach, but very good at offense. And you saw what he did to the Badgers. I think those 2 weeks and those 2 particular games of development for Bryce Underwood, he could have been a lot. Yes, Wisconsin's defense played well in the run game, but he also had his development stunted by a couple games because he was missing his head coach and offensive coordinator. That had he had him, maybe he looks a little better against Wisconsin. So I feel like I was intrigued and optimistic on how well we played against them, but I'm also looking like I don't know if we got the Bryce Underwood that we would have got if we played in like November. So I think we got him at the perfect time. We just same thing for Ty Simpson. Like we got him at a good time and he was just spinning it. He's only going to get better.
There is actually one other thing that I wanted to touch on in the Michigan game that I had slipped my mind momentarily. The Luke Fickell timeout situation. Wisconsin down 2 scores. They attempt an onside kick, fail to recover. A little over 2 minutes left in the game. Luke Fickell opts not to call timeouts, opts not to extend the game even before the 2-minute warning. An issue of wide consternation amongst Wisconsin Badgers fans. I think maybe our very own Ryan Eilers, chief among them, perhaps. I pulled up a spreadsheet that I had created over the course of this week. I was showing it to Dylan Graff. I charted every single instance in which Luke Fickell has chosen to call a timeout during his tenure as the Wisconsin Badgers head football coach. Luke Fickell has not used all 3 of his second half timeouts since Wisconsin lost at Indiana, another loss that caused Ryan big feelings back in 2023. That's the last time Wisconsin used all 3 timeouts in a second half.
Yes, brother. Absorb
They
that.
did not use all 3 timeouts in a second half the entirety of 2024.
Oh, but wait a second, Ked. They had close games against Oregon and Penn
Right.
State and Ohio State. They didn't use all 3,
Right.
Ked?
Right.
That is I didn't know that. That's fucking crazy.
There's some right, and there's some instances in there where like that fact is stripped of all context, right? Like that fact is stripped of context where they were kind of trying to extend the game against Minnesota for a while there, and ultimately like they weren't able to use all the timeouts. It's stripped of context of like if they started using timeouts and then a team ends up getting a first down, and so like it doesn't the ability to use timeouts doesn't really matter anymore. And so there is a little push-pull there of, you know, if Luke Fickell had chosen to start using his timeouts in some of these instances, you know, the performance on the field was not good enough to give them a chance anyway, which is its own issue, of course. But yes, Wisconsin has not used all 3 timeouts in a single second half since losing to Indiana in 2023. And that's
like,
wild.
To me, whether you're performing well or not, if you have the timeouts and you still have the chance to like win the game or make it close, like why are you not using them? Like that's a bitch ass shit. I don't know. Like
it's asinine, bro.
He leaves. Like I compared it out, and he leaves like roughly a timeout more unused than his opponents,
which is
on a per game basis. And basically all of that difference comes from the 2024 season to present, which tells me that like he's coaching differently since the 2023 season. And I don't know if that's just he's had backup quarterbacks the whole time and is trying to avoid the score looking uglier than it is, because there is some Tanner Mordecai sprinkled into 2023 that, you know, the Tyler Van Dyke, the Billy Edwards is not really sprinkled in 2024-25. So there is some where I think he is coaching even more conservatively now than he did in his first year, which I know there was plenty of criticism about him coaching too conservatively in 2023. You know, chief among them, Ohio State comes to Wisconsin a week from Saturday. And the last time Ohio State came to Wisconsin, Wisconsin was within a touchdown at the beginning of the fourth quarter, drove the ball to the Ohio State 48-yard line, and then Wisconsin punted on 4th and 6 in that game and then never crossed midfield again. So like, it's not that Luke Fickell was coaching hyper aggressively in 2023 and then changed entirely. It's the baseline was already conservative and he's gotten more conservative ever since. It's
which is stupid.
Wacky, weird. Like this is a team that's consistently losing games. You can't, I understand that the margin of victory can look worse, but like each loss only counts as one.
Exactly. Like who gives a fuck if you lose by 7 more points? Like if you're aggressive and take chances when we're losing by 30, no one's gonna like point that out or blame you for that. But the fact that you don't do it, to me, is just shining the light on like a lack of faith in your own team. Like if I'm a player in the locker room and we're not using all our timeouts, we get down 2-3 scores in the fourth quarter, we're not being aggressive. Like, why are we out here? What are we doing? And to me, that says a lot about leadership and coaching.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, it's just gutless. And I try, and I'm going to try to be respectful because I don't want to question the heart of a man. However, and I'll segue for just 5 seconds and say, my team is like I've well documented now. 1-6. I've used all 3 timeouts in all of my games that I played because you either care or you don't. Well, it's not always about winning and losing, especially if you're telling me that this is not a season about winning and losing. We're talking about moral victories and that. if you're going to be playing for moral victories and you got a culture counter and you got a fourth phase, how does it seem to the boys when you're just like 2:46 left? You guys have no fucking chance. But then you flip on the game later, which they're coming back from Michigan, so I'm not sure if they took a flight or a bus, but I'm sure the boys had time to watch the Florida State game when Florida State was down by 21 points in the fourth quarter and called timeouts and did onside kicks and got the ball back and scored touchdowns and then called timeouts. And they made it, they were within an onside kick of having an opportunity to go down and win. I think the idea that you just don't call your timeouts, and I got ahead of myself there. In the first half, they had the ball at Michigan 48 with 3 timeouts and just decided that he was going to keep those to souvenir. And then you get to the second half, and it's just like, was taking any of those timeouts, were you going to win the game? 1,000,000% no. We know you didn't have the horses to do it. We get it. But at the end of the day, when you talk about recruiting and you talk about social media and you talk about building a culture, it's all built on image and optics. And if you look like you don't care, whether you care the most and you're just pissed off and you just want to get out of there because whatever reason, the optics are you mailed it in for the last 2:46. Now, if you called that time, there was 3rd and 4 with like 1:46. Why don't you call timeout? If they get a first down, then that's fine. Then you can justify it. But when you let them 3rd and 4 and you run it down from 1:40 something down to a minute, and then they get a first down, and then they try to go quick on you, like I found myself turning into like the biggest Chief hater on planet Earth because I was like, score this fucking football, run this shit down their throat. I was rooting for a Michigan touchdown just as a fuck you because it's like, look, you didn't have any heart. They're playing all 60, brother. You only wanted to play 57 and a half, but they're playing all 60. They're trying to score. And they didn't even call a timeout, but I was thinking Sharon Moore was going to when they're at the 3-yard line. But at the end of the day, when you're down 14 points and you're kicking field goals in the fourth quarter, what are we playing for? At the end, like, who cares if you get beat 24-10 or 24-7 or 31-7? You're not winning the game, bro. Who cares? Go for the touchdown. Get some nuts and guts about you. Like, and I'll get off my soapbox. Our game last night ended an 8-8 tie. We threw 2 interceptions on our last possessions because we were trying to score. Who cares? If you're not going to win, you're not going to win. But if you don't try, you're beating yourself before you even try. I'd rather see Hunter Simmons throw an interception in the end zone and say, shucks, we should have got that one. Or we could fix that. We can work on that. But no, we're going to kick a field goal to go down 14 so that all the happy Badger fans can cover. Like, that shit was embarrassing, bro. And that's how I feel about it. And I didn't want to be negative. I wasn't going to try to let this rip. Shame on you, kid, for bringing this up. I was trying to turn it.
Shame on me for bringing up the thing that you wouldn't shut the hell up about on the internet. What the
fuck? You piece of shit.
I flushed it. I moved on, and you had to bring this negativity back in my life, sir, and I don't appreciate it.
All right, here we go. A little more story time. Luke Fickell reminds me of my high school football coach. Shout out Mike Minnick. I like Mike. He's a good dude. I don't know if I talked to him for more than 10 minutes in a season I played in football. But anywho, last game of my career, playoffs against Monona Grove, we got beat because our quarterback can't throw. But that's another. I'm not salty about it at all. But anywho, so last game of the year, Monona Grove. We're all in the locker room right before the game. Coach comes, gives his fucking pregame speech. He starts off with, well, guys, it's been a great season. Like, I'm really proud of you. Let's just go out there and fight. But, just know we've had a really good year. What the fuck, coach? Like, so you're like you're giving up on us? And, this is probably unfair to say, but, it feels like that's how Luke Fickell kind of is with this program right now. And some of these the locker room. It's like, yeah, you can say what you want, but not calling your timeouts, not game managing well, basically giving up at the end of some of these games, just laying over. What does that say to your team? Do you not believe in anyone you have on the roster? And so I don't know, it kind of reminded me of that shit. I remember before the game, hearing a coach say that to me. It's dude, well, wait, what? And now you want me to go out here and play for you for fucking 60 minutes or whatever it is? and you don't believe in my ability, like you automatically think we're going to lose. Like, how am I supposed to believe in myself or believe in our team? And you know what? We did lose. I played the game of my life, but we did lose.
But that's a post-game story. Like that is a post-game. Like I think sometimes we get him like that everything he said perfect in the post-game. And I feel like that's the part that I struggle with the Fickell regime is I feel like again, I don't want to judge the heart of a man, but you can't like I'm not sure if you've been to the stadium yet, Coop. So they redid the intro video again. So
no, I've not.
So towards the end of the video, there's like a sound bite from I don't know if it's Fickell in the locker room or wherever, and he's like very animated, and it doesn't show the video; it's just the sound, and it's like something along the line. And I'm gonna paraphrase. It's something along the lines of, "We're gonna get him to the fourth quarter. We're gonna shut the gate, and we're gonna lock him in hell." Okay, that's a lot of tough talk for someone that just gave up on the last 2 minutes and 46 seconds.
Yeah.
Go out there, try to make a play. So just because it's 3rd and 4, you can't stop them on 4 yards? You got the best rush defense in the country, right? Oh, you can't stop them passing? But I thought you were the guy that gets all the cornerbacks drafted. You got the Sauce Gardner. You got the attacking back 7. You can't force the turnover? Or you don't want to try to, like, you don't believe in the boys to get a turnover? To me, it just reeked of, I don't have any confidence in these bums. And it's like, buddy, it's year 3. Like, they're all your guys. The guys that stayed here chose you. The guys that came in the transfer portal chose you. The guys that came in from the high school recruiting classes in 23, 24, and 25 chose you. If you're not going to believe in them, why would they play here? Like, to me, it's just like when fans live and die by the W. Like, I'm a transplant. I got here in 2005. I've loved Wisconsin since I got here. I didn't grow up in Wisconsin, but I learned to love the W. Coaches come and go. Players come and go. At the end of the day, like, we are here longer than the coaches. And it's like, if we're going to care, we're always going to care more than he does. But when it feels like you don't care to the point of we have to question whether you care. And again, judging the heart of a man isn't fair. But the fact is that even enters your brain is like, does this actually bother him? That is enough to say, come on, man. If it even creeps in.
Yeah. Also, before we move on, speaking of high school, RIP my high school offensive line coach, Bob Winkler, played for the Badgers. Shout out, Bob. Best coach I ever had.
All right. To close the book on it, I have been trying to find this exact quote, but I can't find it in my transcripts.
Hey, grab a beer.
There. Okay. Man, I really should turn on the setting where I can just run ads with the push of a button here, so I can run ads while Coop does his beer breaks, so we can make some money around these parts. There is a quote from some point in the season from Luke Fickell, and I can't find the exact thing right now, but it's just the idea that like this season is a process, and this program build is a process, and we have to take it seriously. You know, every practice, every single snap. Like, and it just when you do what you do with the timeout decisions there, it just doesn't feel like he's being true to that. Which is just it's odd, and I wish I had the exact quote in front of me so I could reference it, but it's in that same vein. Okay, let's move on to talking about the Iowa Hawkeyes and the Wisconsin Badgers football team, welcoming them to Camp Randall Stadium this Saturday, homecoming weekend at the University of Madison. As previously mentioned, the Iowa Hawkeyes lead the Big Ten in yards per rush allowed. Meanwhile, Wisconsin is having one of its worst rushing performances by a team ever. And Iowa allowing fewer than 70 yards per game on the ground. Wisconsin likely starting Hunter Simmons in this game once again with a questionable offensive line at best. Iowa, probably the better special teams unit, has a bona fide star at punt returner, at kick returner. Again, not that white boy corner Cooper DeJean, but Caden Wetchen, who already has a kick return and a punt return for a touchdown this year, is the only player in the country to do so. was the only player in the country to do so last season. I don't know about the first 3 phases, but maybe Wisconsin's got a 4th phase advantage here, boys.
Not after last week. I told the counter is empty, baby.
I envision this, and I don't know, maybe I'm naive, being a classic Big Ten, like 10-16, 21-17, like something like that. That's what I envision this game being.
That's the thing, is I could talk about this game until I'm blue in the face and tell you all about why I think Iowa's just better up front on either side of the ball, and clearly Iowa's got the better special teams. But hey, if Wisconsin's got the worst special teams, but it's because Jaden Ballard is laying guys out as the gunner, while Caden Wetchin's calling for a fair catch, well, that doesn't matter. Caden Wetchin's not or committing kick catch interference. Wetchin's not going to be able to run the ball back if Ballard's out there committing penalties and just killing a guy. Right? Like that's the advantage. We saw that in the Maryland game. Can't return a kick if you're busy getting laid out instead. Meanwhile, like, it's still Wisconsin, Iowa. And for all of the reasons we could talk X's and O's, at a certain point, like, college football kind of is college football, and there still is a lot of inertia to where I look, 42 points last year was really something. I would be shocked to see it happen again. I would, just because that's just not something that happens. I don't know that I have like a big question off of that.
I mean, what's the most Iowa's given up this year? 28 to Rutgers.
They scored 47 against the UMass Minutemen.
Yeah. I mean, played Indiana 20-15.
Yeah, this is going to be an old Big Ten rock fight. And I think the thing is, if it's not, that's when we're going to have questions. I mean, I guess one direction. Because if this is one of those ones like the Badgers go out in 42-10, all right. Hey, we might have found something with Hunter Simmons for the rest of the year. If it's the other way around, yikes. Because anybody that's watched our show or followed along with any of the dumb things I say, I have said, and I'll say probably until Kirk Ferentz is gone. But even then, I'm going to need a sample size big enough to not say this. But Iowa will always be our litmus test. They are looking in the mirror. Across, I mean, anybody that watched Evan Flood and Colin Wilder summed it up very well in saying why Iowa has so much respect. So I don't need to recreate the wheel on that one. Everyone knows what Iowa is, what that rivalry means. It's a border battle. It's for the pig, for the bacon. If they can't get it done, I think it's more or less like I try to think, because I can sometimes lean pessimistic, and some of my boys would tell you that I'm very pessimistic the last few years. I feel like Wisconsin has to win this one, if for no other reason than that would be 0-3 in the Fickle era losing Iowa, and an
0-4 streak if you extend that out.
Yeah, I don't really count Jimmy and Mertz. I get why you do it, but I put an asterisk next to it. It was an interim coach on the road. I was at the game. It was cold as shit. Mertz threw a pick
Oh my
six.
God! Excuses.
No. Please understand.
Yeah.
I
Heaven forbid you have to play football in cold weather in the Big Ten.
Like what?
Build the dome, man. Build the dome.
I'm from Phoenix. Like that weather was getting me, and I was just watching. I'm not making an excuse at all.
60 degrees probably gets you.
Ryan loves to just be watching, baby.
Yeah, you see, I'm wearing a hoodie, bro. You see what it is. But at the end of the day, like, we could look back at that game, like, he picked 6 to Cooper DeJean. There was a punt block that they got at like the 20-yard line, and then Spencer Petras scored. Otherwise, you take those two dumb plays off, you're looking at a 10-10 rock fight, which is a normal Wisconsin-Iowa game. But then you go from that in an interim coach. All right, you lost the game. Who cares? Then you got a new coach for a reason, because clearly that guy couldn't do the job. And then you go, 15-6, couldn't score an offensive touchdown. And then the next year it's 42-10. So the last 2 times Wisconsin has played Iowa, they have scored 1 touchdown. Like, you're not going to win many games if that happens.
Cujo in the chat saying Middleton Middle School football doesn't play in weather under 50 degrees.
We don't, baby. We don't. The last game is next week, and it's supposed to be 63.
Hey, we bougie as shit out here, dog.
Bro, we play
Middleton might got that cash to build a dome for the middle school team.
They probably do.
We do have an indoor facility. We just can't use it because of school nights and the varsity's in there. But still, so the boys
They
are
had
hard.
to play in cold weather. Darn.
But it was
mercy me, dude.
If Middleton could only use an indoor facility, they could improve to 2-5.
There's no indoor facility that was getting us to 2-5. We struggle to score the football. But which, hey, coincidentally
starts up front.
Hey, it does start up front, and we got no time to throw, which kind of seems like the case is going to be for Hunter Simmons when they play Iowa. So at the end of the day, if you're only going to score one touchdown every other game against Iowa, you're not going to win very many of them. So,
all right, here's the question I have for both of you.
Oh God,
yes.
Do you think Gronkowski throws a touchdown?
It's Gronowski. You're like the
don't
third
care.
person I've heard called Gronkowski this week.
I'm calling him Gronkowski. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, if he's done catching tight ends for the catch. Oh, hello.
Oh, fuck you. You know who I mean. All right.
Gronowski. I don't know.
Is score a touchdown on the ground or through the air? Is that the question here?
Yes.
Okay.
Is he going to play?
Right.
I mean,
it sounds like he's clear.
I think so.
And he was cleared last week. It just they didn't have a game, so whatever. I think my answer to your question, Coop, is yes. I think so. I think this defense gives up something somewhere, right? Like it's the Iowa pass game is relatively competent, and I don't have a lot of confidence in the Wisconsin football secondary at this point. And unless Wisconsin's pass rush just comes out absolutely dynamite, which I don't expect against this Iowa offensive line, which I think is they're not going to win the Joe Moore Award, but they're solid. I think he's going to get one somewhere, whether it be with his legs. I kind of doubt it. I would have to see it with him because he's cleared. I don't expect him to be 100% healthy. Yeah. I think they score a touchdown at some point in time.
Well, I do too, but
and maybe it's a rushing touchdown. That's it. But I don't know. I think they probably get more than that.
It's just funny seeing like a quarterback who's throwing 3 touchdowns and 2 interceptions on the season.
Sure.
The Deacon Hill is strong in that one. But or I guess any Wisconsin quarterback since Phil Longo, I guess, could also qualify. What are you setting the over-under at? Like a half for Gronowski touchdowns?
A half.
Then I'll definitely take over. If it was 1.5, I would really be flirting.
I mean, the rushing, was he at like 7 or 8 rushing touchdowns?
Well, that's what I mean. If you're doing total touchdowns, if the number is 1.5, then I'm really going back and forth.
But throwing though,
get one no matter.
Like a passing touchdown though, I think a half's the number. And we're getting way off track here, but
I think that's fair. But also, I've seen our secondary, so I'm still taking the over.
Yeah, true. What's the spread? Iowa 3.5.
They work back to that whole it's 3rd and 7. Let's line up at 8 yards deep. So I could see that.
He's up to 7 rushing TDs.
7? Okay.
7 rushing TDs, which is the 4th most among all players in the Big Ten and 7th in the country.
I believe that.
The Kane Coulter is strong in that one. The real ones know.
Well, I'm not a real one then.
Kane Coulter was the running back or quarterback for Northwestern, but the kid couldn't throw, so they'd always bring him in and he'd run read option and get a lot of rushing touchdowns.
Yeah, you lost me at Northwestern.
Cradle of quarterbacks part 2. Just think if Wisconsin had Northwestern quarterbacks at the same time Wisconsin had everything else they had. Oh, you give me Clayton Thorson or Trevor Simeon or any of those guys instead of like Hornibrook. Bro.
I disagree.
That's Orange Bowl most valuable player, Alex.
Yeah, what are we doing here?
I will always ride or die for the Horn Dog, but let's be honest. Those guys were NFL quarterbacks who had NFL starts versus Alex Hornibrook. Like, let's put some respect on that.
Yeah, let's be honest. There's been a lot of guys who don't deserve NFL starts who have NFL starts.
Yeah, like Adrian Martinez, like who's like I think the QB2 on the 49ers.
Like Bailey Zappi might start. Like
Yeah,
dude balled out at Western Kentucky, man.
sick.
he actually got in the paint. We're struggling to get in the paint.
Brandon Whedon.
Yeah, but he was like 30 when he got drafted.
Fucking Mike Holmgren.
As crude as it is, I do want to talk fourth phase here for a second, because 42 push-ups has been this team's rallying cry all offseason after they surrendered 42 points to the Iowa Hawkeyes last year. And because this is what this show is, I think it's worth wildly speculating. 42 push-ups being your rallying cry. If this team goes out and then loses this game, what does it do to the psyche of that football team that in some way has been built up for not quite 12 months, but like for 10 months with the sole focus of winning this game in particular? Then what if you go out and lay an egg?
I'm going to tell you what.
It feels like a real moment of potential disaster.
The 42 push-ups is just as bad as the team vest. I'm here to say that.
Thank you.
I got zero time for this bullshit.
Another cringy thing. And also,
like,
are they doing 42 push-ups every day? Like,
yeah, we do Bucky Badger. Like, dude,
that's what I'm saying. Like, what are
we're doing? Hey, you boys are doing push-ups. How about coaching? How about skewing up a little bit, boys? Huh?
How about finding the paint so Bucky can do?
That's a crazy idea. That's a crazy fucking idea. But no, we're doing 42 push-ups to remember when we got our fucking dick kicked in by probably half the people who weren't even on that team.
Well,
Yeah,
Coop,
What are we like? What are you doing? Like that's how you motivate people? No wonder why we don't win games.
I'm going to let this reflect on your culture counter, sir. You're just not bringing the team morale.
Every push-up is +1 in the culture counter. Think about how many culture counts they have racked up this year.
Yeah, and then you got 2 minutes of 40-something seconds that you got to remove from that culture counter. Question. So when we are competing for championships, Iowa is what we're motivating ourselves by?
Unfortunately. It's a must-win game.
Listen.
It's a must-win game.
I think I get it, but look, I think this whole, and you see it in the online fan base, this whole, it's not the Big Ten West anymore that they've been saying the last 2 years, like, is rubbing a lot of people the wrong way because you're losing to a lot of old Big Ten West teams. You know, they beat their last 2 Big Ten wins are over Big Ten West teams in Northwestern, which was their last Big Ten conference win on October 19th. October 19th, almost a full calendar year ago. And their last Big Ten home win was over the Purdue Boilermakers with a dead man walking at head coach of that time. A 52-6 Locktober victory.
It was spooky indeed.
What's that?
Was that in 23?
No. That was last year. I was at that game.
Okay, the beginning. Okay.
That was their last.
Okay, hold on.
That was their last.
Hold on.
So like I like it doesn't winning championship. I personally subscribe to the belief that college football has never been about winning championships. College football has been about winning championships for like 20 years, and that's it. College football has always been about beating your rivals. College football has been about beating for as long as like the Big Ten West did not exist. College football for the Wisconsin Badgers was about beating Big Ten West teams. And that's what you should be focused on. To hell with the CFP Invitational. Like, it's college football, is about winning the Heartland Trophy. Yes, is about winning Paul Bunyan's axe. Like, is about showing Nebraska they do not deserve to be Wisconsin's rivals if that's what you believe.
Yeah,
right?
fuck Nebraska, dog.
It's about winning disgusting games against Northwestern. Competing for championships is about competing for the Heartland Trophy. It is a trophy. That means it's a championship, I suppose.
All right, Ked, completely off topic, but how many sporting events do you think you've attended in your life?
In my life?
Yes.
I don't know. I went through and I did something like the first semester I was enrolled at UW. I attended more than 24, just at UW. Which
Do you think,
I don't know, a lot.
Over under 500?
Oh, under.
Under?
Over. Yeah. Under 500, I think. I would, if we're talking
the fact that you have to think about it.
I don't know. If we're talking hundreds, I would probably place it somewhere between. No, I'd say
Did you not go to any as a child?
Well, yeah, but
so you're probably over 500.
No, not well. Oh, if we're talking I don't know,
lifetime.
You
yeah,
you're the whole life, your entire life.
Does me playing youth hockey count?
Did we ask if you played or attended the game? Did you
going to a game?
Your dad's alum at Kansas, right? I get that wrong?
Right.
If you went to a youth hockey game, I'll count that. If you were a spectator.
Oh no, I don't know. 500 sounds like a lot.
Did you play that hockey?
Yeah. I grew up playing hockey.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah.
What position did you play?
No wonder.
I was a winger for a while. I moved to center.
Okay.
Yeah, fucking slappers, Coop.
The most absurd line I played on, by the way, was I centered a line with two twins, Ross and Ryan, on the wings. If you think telling identical twins apart is hard, try doing so while they're in full hockey gear and on the ice with you at the same time for 60 minutes.
Imagine if they run train on you, dude. You don't know who's who.
I was trying to think of what kind of gross thing I could say too. I was thinking about a Ked Oreo. I was thinking about a lot of things. Shout out Ross and me from the Bantam days. So this is your point. What over under?
Yeah, I don't know what this means. 500 for my 28-ish years on the planet is 17 a year. I guess I don't know. Maybe pushing that. Probably not. I don't know.
Let's say yes, just for fun. Go ahead, Coop.
Right.
Yeah. What was the point of this question?
No, that's all I got. I was just wondering.
Okay.
I'm just a little fucked up, but I was like, man, you've been to a lot of sporting events. I wonder how many.
I'll run the numbers for you.
Please do.
I'll get back to you.
Yeah. So while you're doing that, so I think to the point that you had about competing, or when I said competing for championships and you pointed out beating your rivals, that's all fine and well. But when you decided to let the Golden Boy go, Golden Boy, as a nickname for old Jimmy, who a lot of people thought should have got the job, you declared to your alumni and to your fan base that wasn't good enough. And that's fine. If you want to compete in the world, and you do not know how bricked up it made me when you said college playoff invitational, because I've been trying to put that I into everything, because it's not a playoff, it's an invitational. So I was bricked up when you said college football invitational. But anyway, you declared to your fan base and your alumni that beating Minnesota, beating Iowa, getting the trophies, having a full trophy case wasn't good enough. Otherwise you would have brought the guy that could probably do that pretty consistently. You declared in intro press conferences in year after year after year, the goal is to play for championships. The goal is to compete for national championships. So much so that if you go to that same Evan Flood and Colin Wilder pod from probably 2 or 3 weeks ago, Colin Wilder, and I'll paraphrase, was highlighting the fact that some of the new staff came in there and said, hey, we're not playing. We didn't come here to win Rose Bowls. We came here to win national titles. So, and that's paraphrasing. That's not exactly what Colin Wilder said, but it was along that gist that Rose Bowls weren't good enough. Brother, you made your bed. Win some championships. And we're not talking about bad boy mowers bowls. Like, come on now. You set the standard that you wanted to be judged by. We're there now. And beating Iowa and doing 42 push-ups is super, like, is PJ Fleck busy? Like, did he give you that idea? Because this whole, like, team vest and push-ups and all this cringy shit we do, like, I get that you're trying to attract children to come play football for you. But at the end of the day, like, it seems super creepy at some point. Like, can we just get young men in here that want to play and develop and play football at a high level? Like, do we need gold thrones? Do we need all this stuff? Let's get some hard-nosed kids in here that just want to kick ass and take names.
Also, have either of you ever seen a bad boy mower in the wild? Because I haven't.
I have one time back when
I've never seen anyone with a bad boy mower.
Yeah, they got the zero-turn ones. They're pretty nice. I've seen one before. I don't think I've seen one before. It was at a golf course, but I don't know if it's like a golf course specific thing. But bad boy mowers. When I saw it, I did remember. I was like, hey. I remember when we beat the Miami Hurricanes in back-to-back years. We beat them in that shitty bowl up there in the baseball field.
I'm saying, like I said, I've never heard of him, and maybe shame on me, but that's a lot of money to sponsor a bowl game. I got
a pal who is like a greenskeeper at like a couple of real fancy ass golf courses. Is his job? I'll ask him his opinion on lawnmowers.
Please do. Is he a bad boy?
Oh, yeah.
You'll have to ask your mom, Coop.
Whoa. Put some respect on Brandy's name, dog.
Oh, yeah. Respect, but also cooked him.
All right.
That one. Sorry, Brandy.
She's watching.
She's going to beat Ked's ass, and it's going to be awesome. She's going to take that ass behind her and put it
okay. Anybody have final thoughts on the Iowa Hawkeyes culture counter winning the Heartland Trophy? I got one final thing that I guess I'll mention. If Iowa wins this game, it's the 99th meeting between the two teams. It sets up a 100th meeting next year in Iowa City, in which if Iowa were to win that game, it would tie the all-time series at 49, 49, and 2.
There's been 2 ties?
2 ties.
Ties are the dumbest thing in the history of sports.
Yes, agreed. I don't have anything much, but I mean, kind of like what I alluded to earlier. This, like, if you're Luke Fickell, you have to win this game. It's a very winnable game. Like, it's not like Iowa's a shitty program.
Coop, when you say have to or what?
Or I think you might be done. I think they figure the buyout out then. And if he doesn't win this game, do you think he's coaching the team next year?
Yeah.
Because I don't.
I'd like,
he's coaching no matter what. I think 2-10, he's still coaching it.
Really? Do you think the buyout's too much or what?
I don't know. When Scary Alvarez put out something the other day, and it really made me think that I was like, wow. He had said something like, Luke Fickell, and I'm paraphrasing again, something like Luke Fickell is either coaching this game like he knows he's not going to be here next year, or he knows for sure he will be here. So for me,
that's one and the same, I feel like.
Well, he either knows he's going to be here next year and he doesn't really care about this season because they're building, or he knows he's not going to be here and he doesn't give a shit. But I don't know. I don't see that there's like when Ked asked you like win or what, I feel like this is going to be a big game for how the fan base moves forward. Because 15
and that's
6,
yeah.
15
I mean, maybe that's what I'm alluding to. But like, what other games are you going to win besides this or Minnesota? Maybe Washington.
Yeah, and I'm not. Don't. Yeah, that to me is like nothing with steroids. Like everybody's like, oh, Maryland was up 20-0 on them too, and like, yeah, you saw they lost because Washington was scoring bunches. They got real players. I think at the end of the day, like we also have to, and we don't have time now because we're approaching the hour mark. But this gets back to my 2023 take with Greg Gard when I was, admittedly, on the what are we doing here, Gard? Because what are our expectations? We also have to. I have to keep it a buck. And then when I look at Luke Fickell and I say, what are our expectations? Like, if we can't go into year 3, I don't give a shit if you have a Halloween mannequin at quarterback 3. If you can't beat Iowa in year 3, like, yeah, if it's close and you end up 7-5, 8-4, tough schedule, buddy. If you go 0-3 against Iowa, like, what? You're not even at the floor where we were. So the idea of like we're going to go to new heights, it's like, brother, we're not even at the floor. So I just don't know that there's any way that if he loses, I know I'm kind of like teetering on like apathy right now. If we lose to Iowa, I think I'm going to be in like full, all right, I'll check back in when we got a new coach mode. And that's not fair to the players, but that's just where I'm at, where I'm just like, all right, it's October 9th. Red white scrimmages in a couple weeks. I'll check back in with this program next August because no reason to follow recruiting. They're going to be here, be gone. Guys are going to come. Guys are going to go. I'll check back in late August. And it's like, I don't want to do that. Like, I don't think a lot of fans want to do that, especially ones that pay to go to the games. That it's like, you go 4-8. Okay, I think you could, it was a bad year, blah, blah, blah. Like, at some level, we are now conditioned that 4-8 is acceptable. And to me, that's absolutely disgusting. That like, hey, if we get to 4-8, we did the best we could. Like, what? In what planet is 4-8 acceptable? So at the end of the day, I think I'm kind of teetering on that apathy. We lose this game, rock hard for guard season begins.
I don't I don't listen. I have made my opinion on the like. You do not get excuses for not having your starting quarterback for 3 seasons thing. Like I've made my stance on that pretty dang clear for a decade before Luke Fickell got to Wisconsin. Wisconsin relied on multiple starts from its backup quarterback every other year, and they never missed a bowl. Like I've made my opinion on that very clear, and I get all of it. Look, and I will still provide a relative amount of respect for anybody's opinion to the contrary in the big picture. In this matchup, if you think you get an excuse for not having your starting quarterback, you are just wrong and do not understand Wisconsin, Iowa. Wisconsin has lost this game each of the last 3 seasons with Iowa starting quarterback Spencer Petras, Deacon Hill, and Brendan Sullivan. None of those quarterbacks threw for 100 yards in that matchup. Deacon Hill won, scoring 15 points. Iowa scored 15 points in that game, and Deacon Hill threw for 37 yards. 37, not 137. 37 yards.
And half of that came to one tight end. Half of it came to a one tight end that blew out his knee that was an NFL player. To Eric All. He got half of it in one throw.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Any of the 3 of us on this podcast could go out and play quarterback in this matchup. It doesn't change anything about it being Wisconsin, Iowa. It doesn't change anything.
I agree. I can go out there and throw 3 picks if you want and hand it off 14 times. Like, if you need someone just to suck, there's plenty of people that can do it. There's no excuses.
Ooh. Big Wisconsin basketball opponent news. Wisconsin playing Oklahoma in an exhibition in a couple of weeks here inside the Pfizer Forum. According to Trilly Donovan, secret scrimmage final score, Oklahoma 89 over Texas Tech 87. Texas Tech, a loaded roster this coming year. So Oklahoma looks like it might just be a wagon coming to play Wisconsin inside Pfizer Forum.
They haven't seen the Gardo boys yet. Just easy.
I love that though. I love that for an exhibition.
It's good. Looks like tickets are going to be pricey to that.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. Okay. Let's get out of here. Sounds like
physical.
Anybody have final thoughts, word facts, geography facts, anything to share before we depart?
I actually have nothing today. I'm sorry to let people down, but
wow. I
know.
I am tremendously let down.
I will say next week though, I think my Cooperlatives will be done. Finally.
Hell yeah. We might need them.
So.
We might need them.
Gosh. Cujo, by the way, asked, didn't they get rocked last year in the exhibition?
I'll rock you.
Did Wisconsin play an open exhibition last year against anybody that isn't River Falls? I know that like the final score against the so-called secret scrimmage against Platteville was concerning, and it didn't matter.
Yeah.
Like some of these secret scrimmage things like don't totally matter. But
yeah, I don't know if they did last year or not, to be honest.
What was that, Ryan?
Did we put Iowa State in a scrimmage, a secret scrimmage, or was that a while ago? Might have been a couple years ago.
I don't know.
Guess we'll never know because it will remain a secret.
Just win.
Yep.
Beat Iowa. Bring back the pig. The trophy case is empty. You got to bring one home, brother, or keep it home. It's going to be on the sideline. Don't let it leave. Hey, if you don't win the game, just go steal the pig at this point. I don't care. Put it in the case by any means necessary.
We'll see what happens inside Camp Randall Stadium on Saturday. This has been Talkin' Badgers, powered by BadgerNotes.com. I've been your host, Kedrick Stumbris. That is at Ryan B. Eilers and at FRZN Frozen Pizza Cooper. Until we talk to you all again very soon, we should be back tomorrow with a little episode on Wisconsin Basketball Big Ten Media Days, myself and one Dylan Graff on Wisconsin.